Welcome back to some more Umineko when they cry. Also known as copyright bullshit because before I re-recorded this part, what I'm doing, the second part that I had uploaded, like, I don't really care about how much people that would watch it because maybe my thumbnail's kind of shitty with the font and the picture choice, but one of the music that was used in the game and it got automatically claimed by fucking YouTube bots. I sit here, I was like, well, fuck it. We'll just let that be. The worst part when it comes to copyright is getting blocked, meaning that there won't be like certain countries that will make you watch the YouTube thing unless it's VPN or some stupid thing like that. But I mean, recording this again because I keep getting interrupted like during like whenever I'm half hour in. It did reach me to the trophy where, but yeah. So where we last left off, we were taking the boat to Rokujima, which is the island where the the Ushirimiya family would be at. So while they were almost there, there is the shrine that was supposedly a landmark, but it went missing. So apparently there's some bad omen to it. I guess. Anyway, continue reading. Oh, by the way, the Battler was such a goofball while the boat was shaking. It was fucking ridiculous. It was like the most goofball moment ever. At that moment, Maria held up a finger, raised her arm high, and pointed up to the heavens. Oh my. When I looked up, I saw that the sky was still just as cloudy, but it had grown a great deal more leaden than it had been that morning. That's right, they were saying that a typhoon was approaching. Yeah, I fucking figured. They can't pick the proper day to fucking visit. We had planned to spend one night on the island, but if this storm doesn't pass quickly, I won't be able to make it to school on Monday. Well, I guess it makes for a pretty good excuse to be absent. Well, there you go. That's the spirit. She apparently sensed some kind of misfortune in this cloudy sky. She's been muttering that non-stop for a while now. Girls at Maria's age tend to be very impressionable. She's just about the age that many girls start to get excited about sixth senses and whether they have any psychic potential and stuff. It doesn't really show trophies here. Okay. Whether they have any psychic potential and stuff. For all we know, this might be due to her childish, sensitive nature.
大丈夫だよマリアちゃん。天気は今夜くらいには崩れるかもしれないけど、明日には良くなって綺麗な青空になってるよ。
Yeah, it can't be that bad.
綺麗な青空。
そう、明日になれば綺麗な青空になるよ。止まない雨はないし、晴れない雲だってない。
止まない雨、晴れない雲。
確かに台風が近づいてるけどよ、すぐに過ぎちまうって。大丈夫さマリア。
She's just. It went from she sounded like having a migraine to like having a panic attack because you know something's gonna go wrong soon. Maria started yelling, ugh, ugh. It looked as though she was having a tantrum because no one could understand what she was trying to say. What in the world is Maria trying so desperately to warn us about? Unable to understand her, we couldn't help but feel a vague sense of misfortune. I've heard that everyone can feel the supernatural, but that it weakens as you age. Well, who knows? That might mean that Maria, the youngest one of us all, still possessed some kind of sense that the rest of us had lost. I wonder if that sense is sending her a warning. At that moment, Kumasawa-san quietly opened her mouth.
なんでも六軒島はその昔。
熊沢さん、その話はなしにしようぜ。
Just as Kumasawa-san was about to tell some kind of story, Jessica sharply interrupted her. Jessica's tone was extremely firm for her. I wanted to push her further just out of simple curiosity, but judging by the look on Jessica's face, whatever Kumasawa Ba-chan was likely to say would probably make Maria even more uneasy. Well, no shit. I mean, I'm kind of curious too, but I don't know. Maybe it'll get better later on. If I did try to impress her for the story, the odds were pretty good that it wouldn't be anything bright and cheery.
それは申し訳ございませんね。ここの風は年寄りには応えますんで、ちょっと失礼させていただきます。
That's the little funny part right here. It's like Jessica just interrupts her, just tells her to fuck off for now. I shouldn't be that much of an asshole about that headcanon, but still. Gossipers have no reason to hang around after they've been told to stop chatting. When Kumasawa-san finally realized that she'd overstepped her bounds, she went back inside the boat. Look, I don't know how other commentators do it, so I do it my own usual way. She went back inside the boat. Because why not? Back to cheery music. After she left, Uncle Hideyoshi showed up in her place. Since he'd arrived mid-conversation, he completely failed to notice the complicated atmosphere that hung about the scene, so he refreshingly and unwittingly swept that atmosphere aside. Well, ain't that nice. So in the end, it was his lack of tact that brightened the mood.
もう到着だそうやないか。おお、もうちょいやの。今日はのんびりスピードだから時間がかかってもうたわ。誰のせいやねん。
Wonder whose fault. Yeah, gee, I wonder whose fault it is.
うわ、秀吉おじさんもう勘弁してくださいよ。
Maybe if your dumbass went inside the boat, everything would be all fine and dandy. But nope, we just gotta go slow and steady just so you don't go sick.
もっと言ってやってください。たく、バトラのせいで時間かかりすぎだぜ。
Maria probably thought that everyone was refusing to listen to her. She hung her head, wearing a fretful expression. As she did, George Aniki crouched down to meet her eyes and spoke to her kindly.
マリアちゃん、何も怖くないよ。だって、僕たちが一緒だもの。一緒だと何も怖くないんだよ。言ってごらん。
一緒だと何も怖くない。
うん。一緒だと何も怖くない。
Yep. Sounds like another word for stick together.
そうさ、 ジョージの兄貴の言う通りだぜ。俺たちが一緒にいるといつだって何だって絶対に怖くねえんだな、ジェシカ。
ああ、間違いないぜ。ジョージ兄さんの言うことはいつも本当だよ、マリア。
ジョージお兄ちゃんはいつも本当。
うん、僕は嘘をつかないよ。だから信じて。みんなと一緒にいれば何も怖くないんだよ。
ジョージお兄ちゃんは嘘をつかない。信じる。みんなと一緒にいれば怖くない。怖くない。
Oh, look at that. Now she's back to being cheerful. Maria jumped into George Aniki's arms and hugged him tightly. After Aniki patted her head, she jumped away again. Her facial expression had undergone a 180-degree change, turning back to normal. She was once again the ordinary Maria.
みんなと一緒だからもう怖くない。
ああ、そうだぜ。もう平気みたいだな。マリアは強いな。偉いぜ。
Awesome.
マリア偉い。
I'm awesome.
なんや、どうしたんや。
And when it said I'm in the green text, it'll usually show within right around referring to yourself. So, Isleism, common among young Japanese children. Sounds childish and cute in Japanese, can be used by young adult women to achieve the same effect. It's odd because when it comes to like how they use the wording, like watashi or ore on boku. So, I don't know, man. Because the thing is, like, I know a little bit of Japanese, but at the same time, it's like I never know there's like some sort of slang to stuff like these. But I guess it usually just depends on how other people say it. What's going on here?
マリアちゃん、船酔いだったんか。ん？
Well, maybe she did.
まあそんなとこです。もうじき着きますね。
The harbor was already drawing near. Amazing. This is his little clock thing. Saturday, October 4th, 1986, 10:30. Arrival at Rokinjima. The boat gave a big shudder. Seems we've docked at the harbor. The boat driver came out and jumped to the pier with the mooring rope. A large man in a tuxedo was waiting there for us with a warm smile. I didn't recognize his face, but judging by his clothes, I guessed he was a servant of the Ushiromiya head household.
お嬢様、お帰りなさいませ。
Bit of a classy music right there.
だいぶ遅かったので心配しておりました。
心配ありがとう。バトラのやつが怖がっちゃってよ。それで徐行運転だったってわけ。マジでうぜえぜ。
I wouldn't say it's annoying. It's kind of hilarious, quite honest.
うるせえ。いつか逆の立場になったら覚えてろ。
At this rate, word will spread to the whole family and I'll be the big conversation piece during dinner. Yeah, no shit, you're the fucking clown. You're the whole entire circus. That's what I'm trying to say, you motherfucker. During dinner. Even without this, everyone would be talking about me because of that 6 year gap. But now I've given them an even juicier topic. Well, that's on you. Damn it. Why does the Ushiromiya head family have to live on this isolated island? Yeah, it makes me wonder, why do people just, I guess it's just rich people thing, you know? In the means, then again, I don't think I've ever know like any known people out there that are rich who that lives on an island. The only time I would hear about it is they live on like mansions and like on a country and not on the outside of the country. In the meantime, the boat had finished its mooring. A small plank was lowered so that we could get down. One by one, our parents came up from inside the boat.
皆様、長旅お疲れ様でした。奥様、お手をどうぞ。
ありがとう。お久しぶりね。ゴーダさんもお元気？
ありがとうございます。おかげさまで毎日元気にお勤めをさせていただいております。
バトラ君はゴーダさんとは初対面じゃない？
First time?
確か6年前はお勤めじゃなかったですよね。
はい。ですので、バトラ様とは初めてご挨拶させていただきます。はじめまして、バトラ様。
ああ、俺もタッパには多少の自信があったんだが、でっけえ人だな。紛れもなく初対面だぜ。こんな大男あったら絶対忘れないさ。どうも、はじめまして。バトラっす。
お待ち申し上げておりました。一昨年から後宮本家にお仕えさせていただいております使用人のゴーダと申します。
Golda. Working for the Ushiromiya head family since the year before first. So this is interesting. So we meet like almost all of them, and then we're just meeting the servants. Like first was Chiyo, and then there's Golda. Golda Toshiro, servant employed as a chef. While he hasn't served the family long, he has a polished talent for entertaining guests, cultivated through his previous jobs, and is highly regarded as a servant. Since he was hired by Kraus and his wife, he is more trusted than those servants who have served the family longer and who are thought of as Kinzo's spies. Interesting. The spies part. Okay. Before the first.
どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。何かご用命がございましたらいつでもお申し付けください。
ゴーダさん、お久しぶりです。
ジョージ様、ご無沙汰をいたしております。お手をどうぞ。
あんた相変わらず大した接客のプロや。もし食に困ったらいつでもわしに声をかけるんやで。いつでも雇ったろ。
Considering that Hideyoshi is the entrepreneur of a restaurant chain. A restaurant chain, that is.
これは身に余る光栄です。どうぞお手を、秀吉様。
Golda-san then lent a hand to everyone as they disembarked, greeting them as they passed. His speech and mannerisms had the refined polish of a professional. He was very graceful in contrast with his initially tough-looking appearance. His large size made him seem a bit scary at first, but he was much more polite than my first impression had led me to believe. He claimed to have served on the island for 2 years, but he had doubtless worked at a similar job somewhere before. Oh boy, here we go in this background part right here. This is where the some odd humor comes in. After everybody disembarked, the mooring rope was untied and the boat started to steer away from the harbor. Oh no! No point of escaping the goddamn island, it seems. It was probably returning to its home port on Nijima. The captain waved his hand in farewell. Maria conscientiously, or whatever the fuck you pronounce it, waved her hand back. Conscientiously.
なんだかさっきから違和感があると思ったら、あれだな。
Why do you say that?
ウミネコの声を聞いてないぜ。
Oh yes. The localized wording Umineko when the seagulls cry. Like personally I don't want to title that for videos like these, but I just do it in the proper title.
ウミネコ？鳥のか？
If I remember correctly, whenever we came to this island in the past, the seagulls always greeted us with their lively, oh no, I'm not gonna make that noise, nya nya cries. Because of that, whenever I hear whenever I hear the cries of seagulls anywhere else, I get the feeling that I'm coming to a family conference. Except for the small part of the island where those of the Ushiromiya head family live, Rokinjima has been left uncultivated, which apparently makes it a paradise for wild birds. Supposedly, there was a cliff somewhere that housed a huge seagull colony, so this island was always full of seagulls. Not having those seagulls here to greet us made me feel a bit lonely. What else makes you lonely? That's what I want to know.
どうしたの？バトラ君。
See, the VA for Jessica, it sounded familiar since I already, even though I already know who it is anyway. Even Rosa has a familiar voice.
ああ、ローザおばさん。いや、別に。ウミネコの声が聞こえないんで、なんか寂しいなーって。
あら、そういえばそうね。いっつも賑やかなのに、今日はさっぱりいないわね。
どうしてウミネコいない？
Oh no, let's not ask that question.
海猫たちも今日はよそで集まりがあるからかな。マリアも海猫見たかったの？
見たかった。
なんだってこうもまるっきりいねえんだ。ジェシカがみんな焼き鳥にして食っちまったんかな。
Oh boy, here we go.
物騒なこと言うんじゃねえ。マリアが勘違いするだろ。
ジェシカお姉ちゃんが焼き鳥にした
してないしてない。そんなの私がするわけねえだろ。
I don't know. I know what chicken tastes like, but I don't even know anyone else in this world that would eat seagulls. What the fuck?
そうだそうだ。ジェシカが焼き鳥にしたんだ。 皮につくねにレバーにネギマン。
皮にくつねり、レバーにネギマン。
I can't even tell if George is doing this as a stupid joke, or he's just doing this stupid joke just to cheer up Maria. Either way. As I made fun of Jessica, Maria tagged along, looking like she was having fun. Oh, I never guessed she was such a good sport. Alrighty then. From today on, I'll make you my #1 follower. As I smiled at her, she beamed, looking overjoyed, possibly because she was happy about this little connection we made with each other.
違うよマリアちゃん。野鳥って天気や気圧の変化に敏感なんだそうだよ。今夜あたり天気が崩れそうだしね。
You don't say.
末早めに引き上げてるのかもしれないね。
ほう。焼き鳥じゃない？ジェシカお姉ちゃんが焼き鳥にしたんじゃない？違う
違う。私はそんなことしないって。ほらバトラも嘘だったって認めろよ。
バトラ君、マリアちゃんは素直な子だからそういう冗談でも真に受けちゃうんだよ。冗談も少し選んだ方がいいよ。
George Aniki gently scolded me. Even though I outstripped Aniki in the height, Aniki was Aniki, of course. Well, no shit, because he's like 5 years older than you. There was no choice but to obediently apologize.
おう。ありあり。マリア、今のは冗談だ。海猫たちは今日は素でおとなしくしてるってさ。
バトラは嘘？ジョージお兄ちゃんは本当
？Had she actually been tricked, despite all that fun she was having? Her pure eyes made me feel guilty. Maybe I went a little overboard with her after all. I'm pretty sure there's people out there that would say some retarded jokes. So I wouldn't be surprised that you could go overboard like that with her after all.
ああ、そうだそうだ。ジョージ兄貴が言ったのが本当だ。天気が悪いんで今日は引き上げたんだろうよ。いなくなったわけじゃないんだぜ。ね、おばさん。
そうよ。明日以降天気が良くなったらきっと戻ってきてミャーミャーと声を聞かせてくれるわ。
Meow meow. What the? Why do we want? Look, if I can know a crow that can say caw caw, why do I want to know what a seagull would sound like?
天気良くなって戻ってくるの待つ。明日まで待つ。天気良くなるまで待つ。
That's what everyone would say. Maria was in a lighter mood and was looking forward to tomorrow, when the seagulls would come back and fill the skies. Still, George Aniki really was amazing at taking care of kids. I think I remember Aniki taking good care of me as well when I was a brat 6 years ago. Aniki That's probably your gift.
ジョージ君は小さい子の面倒を見るのがうまいわね。保育士さんでも務められるんじゃない？
なあ、ジョージ兄さんの転職っぽいぜ。私的には社長室でビジネスってよりそっちの方が兄さんのイメージだぜ。
まさか。保育士さんは立派なお仕事だよ。単なる子供好き程度に務まる仕事じゃないね。
本当にジョージ君は謙虚ね。でもバトラ君も子供のあやし方が上手よ。さっきはほんの少しの間だけどマリアとっても楽しそうだった。
Considering that Battler and Maria encounter her encounters with each other, and yeah.
これからも今みたいに遊んであげてね。冗談は選んでだけどね。
I don't know about that though, but okay. Aunt Rosa winked at me, giggling a little. She's a real mother, I thought to myself, who was happy to see Maria having fun.
おいローザ、それにガキどもも何やってんだ。行くぞ。
I'm working on it.
はいはい、今行きます。
The old bastard was waiting for us to hurry up. Yeah, we needed to get moving. We might as well have this conversation after setting our luggage down in our rooms.
それでは皆様、お泊まりのゲストハウスの方へご案内させていただきます。
Oh, goody, the guest house.
どうぞこちらへ。
Golda-san called to everyone and led the way. Kumasawa-san brought up the rear. Wow. That was a twisty, windy path. Despite the interesting scenery, a serpentine, twisting path led through a dim forest. It ran a bit uphill. I'd guess the path was made all twisty so the slope wouldn't seem too steep. But personally, I'd have been happier if they'd had the guts to make some stairs in a straight line. No doubt they made the path twist on purpose to put on airs of distance and importance. Before long, we saw garden-style stone steps. Ah, from here on, I do have some memories. Go up these and look at that. The guest house. At the top of the stone steps, we saw a beautiful guest house. Would you look at that? Breathtaking, ain't it? Its facade was lovely, of course, but more importantly, we couldn't enter its doors without having our hearts stolen away by the splendor of the beautiful rose garden spreading before it.
はあ。
That's what I would say.
今年も相変わらず大したもんや。目の保養とはこのことやで。
After climbing the stone steps, the people greeted by this rose garden gave voice to their impressions one by one.
今年は少し花に元気がないんじゃない？やっぱり夏があまり暑くなかったせいかしら。
そのせいもあるかと思います。去年の先に比べると、今年は少々見劣るのが残念です。
Even so, it was a delightful rose garden. I remembered that even 6 years ago, huge numbers of roses had greeted us every year. This rose garden was the first thing that greeted the people who came to Rokujima. Even our parents, who came every year, couldn't help but give voice to their admiration. In fact, it seemed to have undergone a power up from the garden of my memories of 6 years ago.
いつ見てもすごいわね。自宅にこれだけのバラ園があったらさぞや素敵でしょうに。
Not usually a fan of having a rose garden, considering I'm just not a. I don't really have a thing to having thorns, but I guess it's up to some people.
よせよ、誰が手入れすんだよ。バラは虫とか病気とか大変なんだぜ。
Bugs and diseases.
そうね。キリエ姉さんは毎日バラの手入れをしてて虫がつかないようにしてるそうよ。
え？
He's like, what?
そうなのかよ。そんな話は知らないぜ。
そうなんです。この人の場合はバラの方から虫を求めていっちゃうから、どっちかというとたちの悪い食虫植物ってところね。
ああ、そういう話かよ。たく、ローザ、今日はそういう話は勘弁してくれよ。もうそういうのはすっかり足を洗ったんだぜ。
He doesn't really like that topic, huh?
どうかしら。ルドルフ兄さんは遺伝子的レベルでだらしないですし。
大丈夫よ、ローザさん。あんまりおいたするバラなら根元からちょんって切っちゃうから。
物騒なお話ですね。
Frightening talk. I feel like it's more awkward than frightening, to be quite honest.
モテる男はいつもリスクと隣り合わせなんや。わしも来世じゃもうちょい美形に生まれたいもんやで。
だから秀吉兄さん、モテてなんかないって。キリエも物騒な話なんかやめろい。俺のバラがしおれちまったじゃねえか。
Rose wilt? Gee, I wonder where that pun is from.
ほら、マリアちゃん、来てごらん。こっちのバラは特に立派だよ。
バラが立派。
かぐわしい匂いだぜ。俺のエレガントさにぴったりだな。
Charming.
おいよせよ。マリアが真似してトゲで怪我するだろ。
She yelled at me as I leaned in to smell the rose's scent with an exaggerated gesture. I thought she was overreacting, but when I turned around, I saw Maria imitating my every gesture and George Aniki smiling broadly at us.
ほら、マリアちゃん、気をつけて。バラのトゲは痛いよ。
ほう。少女お兄ちゃん、このバラだけ変。
変？どうしたんだよ。
You know, what's so strange about a rose? It's just some mere flower. What could go wrong? Maria pointed at a single rose. I immediately understood why she found it odd. In the midst of all these magnificent roses, one single rose was just starting to wilt. There wasn't any particular reason. Oh, it's just a wilting rose. Some roses flourish and others wilt. That's all there was to it, but Maria seemed very concerned about the only unhealthy one in the group. It must have made her felt it must have made her feel lonely.
このバラだけ元気がなくてかわいそう？
ほう。他はみんな元気なのに、これだけかわいそう。
まあ咲いたり枯れたりはそれぞれだからな。一足先にしおれる代わりに、そのバラは他のどのバラよりも早く開花できたんだと思うぜ。
そうだよな。いっぱい咲いて、その役目を終えてお休みに入ったってだけのことだと思うぜ。そんなに気に病むことはねえさ。
It seemed that Maria's pure sensitive nature was making her feel some emotional pain for the rose that wilted alone. Even though she understood the logic of it, it still felt lonely to her.
じゃあマリアちゃん、帰るまでの間このバラをお世話してあげるといいよ。
Am I supposed to have some sort of concern to this? That she's gonna mess around with the flower garden? George Aniki straightened up and felt around in his pocket. He then took out the wrapper from the candy he had been sucking. On the plane. He twisted it into a thin string, then gently tied it to the rose as a sort of marker.
へえ、なんだか可愛くなったね。
これがこのバラの目印だよ。後でお水とかをあげに来てごらん。バラさんもきっと喜ぶと思うよ。
お水とかをあげに来る。
せっかくだからこのバラさんに何か名前をつけてあげるといいよ。
You're giving Maria a imaginary friend under a form of a rose.
そうするとバラさんも喜ぶと思うし、マリアちゃんと心もきっと通い合うと思うよ。
名前？
Yeah, who needs pets when you have a rose?
名前。
Though she still wore her usual sullen face, Maria crossed her arms and began to consider this intently. At the very least, she appeared to have been completely pulled out of her slump. Nice going, Aniki.
ジョージ兄さんって昔っから包容力があるよな。尊敬するぜ。
だな。人徳ってやつだろ。後で爪の赤をもらってきてやるから一緒に飲もうぜ。
Picking up tips. You mean this tips right here? Because I guess I can just read it from time to time, you know.
この庭園はお前が子供の頃にもこんなに立派だったんか？
私が出てってからよ、こんなに立派になったのは。前の庭園の方が素朴で愛着があったんだけどね。 兄さんがちょっと悪趣味にいじりすぎたのよ。前の方がずっと良かったんだから。
エヴァ、ポジティブシンキングやで。昔は置いといて、今のこの美しさをめでなあかん。その方が心が安らかになるで。
別にそんな意味じゃん。ただ私は昔の方が素敵だった庭園をあなたにも見てほしかったなってだけよ。
それでは皆様よろしいでしょうか。そろそろお部屋の方にご案内いたします。
Golda-san called to everyone to ask if we were ready, but our hearts had been completely stolen away by the rose garden that none of us had seen for a year, so we didn't pay much attention to him. Since we weren't a travel group, it wasn't like we had a strict schedule to follow. Wait, there's a strict schedule to follow when it comes to family reunions? Jesus. I wouldn't be under that sort of branch. Besides, since our parents were visiting their old home full of nostalgia, it wasn't like they had to let themselves be urged on by anyone or anything. Besides, if there was a strict schedule to follow with a family reunion, I'll be like, fuck that, get me the fuck out of here. It wasn't like they had to let themselves be urged on by anyone or anything. Understanding the situation, Golda-san continued to wait, smiling widely until our parents got tired of the roses and told them to guide us to our rooms. Oh, we're actually going to the guest house then.
Well? おーい、カノン君やないか。久しぶりやな。元気か？
Kanon-kun. Uncle Hideyoshi suddenly shouted. Huh. Different background, and then we got a new character. In the direction he was waving was a slender boy. Meeting him right after a huge man like Goda probably emphasized his small stature. The boy was in the middle of transporting piled up gardening tools and the like in a wheelbarrow. When he realized he was being called to stop, he set down the wheelbarrow, took his hat off, and bowed his head.
Konnichiwa.
I figured he was probably younger than me, and I realized by the general atmosphere surrounding him that he was another servant. He greeted us in response to Uncle Hideyoshi's call, but he seemed like he might be pretty unsociable most of the time. It was a greeting that lacked feeling. When Goda-san noticed that our interest had shifted towards him, he went to the boy's side and introduced him to us.
バトラ様、ご紹介いたします。後宮本家にお仕えしております使用人の一人です。
Oh, so that makes us 3 servants introduced at the moment.
カノンさん、お客様にご挨拶を。
はじめまして。使用人のカノンです。
Canon? Yep, my first impression wasn't wrong. He seemed to be unsociable, or at least not so good at talking. Yeah, he's one of these kind of characters, huh? Canon, a young servant, performs his duties silently and diligently, but due to his unsociable nature, he is not so highly regarded as a servant. There are several other servants with the On character in their pseudonyms. He and Shannon just happened to be the ones on duty that day. Compared to Goda-san, who was extraordinarily polished as a servant, you couldn't help but feel an inexperience typical of his age. When Goda-san urged him in a whisper to give a bit more of an introduction, the boy named Kanon only cast his eyes downwards.
カノンさん、もう少し何か挨拶することはできませんか？
いえ、僕たちは家具ですから。
Wow, furniture. He didn't seem to be refusing to greet us out of spite. Rather, he seemed to have fallen silent because he didn't know what else to say to us in greeting.
カノン君は寡黙でさ、余計なおしゃべりはしない性分なんだよ。愛想は少し悪いけど、根はいい人なんだぜ。
Are you sure?
誤解しないで。ここに勤めて3年になるんだっけ？確か郷田さんより1年長いんだよな、カノン君。
Even though he wasn't exactly giving a terrible first impression, Jessica hurriedly backed him up. I see. Apparently his unsociable nature causes him trouble a lot.
そっか。よろしくな。俺はバトラ。18だけど、君はいくつだい？
He fell silent, as though wondering whether or not it was a question he'd have to answer. But here again, Jessica plowed ahead.
確か私たちの2つ下だから16だったよな。はい、そうです。
Is this the kind of question that made you uncomfortable, man? I mean, I guess that seems. I guess I kind of understand why, considering Balor just met Kanon for the first time, but I don't know. It looked like he would have preferred not to tell us his age if given the choice. That was probably because he thought we'd look down on him for it. I remembered that when I was around his age, I hated being asked how old I was by adults. I can feel the same too. I can say the same too. I see, 16, huh? That's gotta be a delicate time. Which means I probably asked something I shouldn't have.
近いとして嬉しいぜ。気さくにバトラって呼んでくれよな。俺も君のことはカノンって呼ぶぜ。
ありがとうございます。お気持ちだけで結構です、バトラ様。
Yeah, just gotta respect it by that honorific, it seems. Jessica looked panicky for some reason. She seemed to think my impression of Kanon was getting worse because of his refusal. Well, as a girl, Jessica probably couldn't understand the fretful male heart at this age. As his elder, even by just 2 years, I took it upon myself to be understanding of that.
カノンさん、もう少し愛想よくはできませんか？
Well, he probably couldn't help himself.
笑顔も使用人の義務ですよ。
申し訳ありません。努力します。
ゴーダさん、カノン君もいろいろ頑張ってるんですよ。ねえ。
It looked like he was often warned about being unsociable, and apparently he hadn't improved one bit. Golda-san kept his business smile but let a small sigh of resignation escape.
それではまだ仕事がありますので。失礼します。
It looked like Kanon himself was uncomfortable with remaining silent here any longer. After another perfunctory bow, he turned around and started pushing the wheelbarrow again. Whoa, shit. Well, this is a good time to end it from here. We're over 50 minutes in. So yeah. Next part. Let's see what happens next when the wheelbarrow fell over. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.